Welcome to English Stories Academy. Welcome, everyone. I'm not here to impress you. I'm not here to throw endless quotes at you. I'm here because I genuinely care. And I know nobody really told you this. If you're in your 20s, there are lessons no one talks about. The kind of lessons that don't trend on Instagram because they aren't flashy. The kind of lessons schools never prepared you for. The kind of lessons your parents might not have learned themselves. These are the truths you usually discover the hard way. After sleepless nights, broken trust, shattered goals, and years of pretending everything is fine. And if you don't hear them now, you might spend the next 5 years repeating the same mistakes I once made. This isn't a motivational speech, just real talk. This video is also great for your English practice. Because we're not just using words, we're using emotions, experiences, and real-life lessons. You'll learn English, you'll learn life. And if you stay till the end, you'll never see your 20s or your future the same way again. Let's begin. Truth 1. Nobody is coming to save you. And that's not a curse. It's your freedom. You keep waiting for someone to fix your life. You think, maybe one day someone will discover me. Maybe my partner will love me so much that I finally feel enough. Maybe a job, a teacher, a mentor will walk in and change everything. But let me say this with love and honesty. Nobody is coming. Not your parents, not your friends, not your partner. They're all busy trying to save themselves. And the day you realize this, it hurts. But it also liberates you. Because once you accept it, something changes in your brain. You stop waiting, you stop blaming, you start building. You become your own savior, your own strength, your own voice. Look at anyone who changed their life. Truly changed it. They didn't wait. They decided. They looked in the mirror and said, if I don't do this alone, it will never get done. And from that day on, they didn't need rescuing. They needed purpose. And they found it. If you can accept this truth, your life will finally begin. Truth 2. The people you spend time with will either sharpen you or slowly destroy you. You are not as independent as you think. You are a reflection of the 5 people you talk to most. Imagine you're focused. You're trying to build discipline. You want a better future. But your closest friends complain every day, blame the world, make fun of your dreams, invite you to parties every weekend, laugh when you say no. Slowly, without even realizing it, you'll become one of them. You'll lose your fire. You'll delay your goals. You'll start thinking mediocrity is normal. And the worst part, you won't even notice it's happening. But now imagine the opposite. You're around people who read, people who build, people who talk about goals, not gossip, people who challenge your comfort zone. Your mind becomes sharper. You grow faster, and you start to believe in more than just survival. You start chasing excellence. This truth is not a quote. It's a law. Your environment will either fuel your greatness or feed your weakness. Choose wisely. Because if you don't, you'll wake up at 35 and realize, I never left the crowd that was keeping me small. Truth 3. Your 20s are not for partying. They're for planting. Let me be clear. You are not missing out by staying focused in your 20s. You are building a life others will be jealous of later. Most people spend their 20s chasing temporary pleasure, fast approval, cheap dopamine, and empty validation. They think success is supposed to happen magically at 30. But let me ask you, what seeds did they plant? What skills did they build? What habits did they master? What pain did they conquer? None. And now they're 35, broke, tired, confused, depressed. And they laugh at you for working hard? Don't let the world fool you. This decade is everything. You can either use it to escape or use it to evolve. Yes, have fun, but build while you do it. Learn a skill. Master your discipline. Read daily. Save money. Get in shape. Control your emotions. And build a version of you that doesn't need the weekend to feel alive. Party in your 20s if you want, but plant too. Because your 30s will be the harvest. And you don't want to wake up in your 30s starving. Truth 4. If you don't learn how to control your emotions will control and destroy your future. Let me tell you something personal. I used to be the kind of person who reacted to everything. If someone ignored my message, I felt disrespected. If a friend didn't invite me, I felt unwanted. If I made a mistake, I'd beat myself up for weeks. If life didn't go my way, I felt like the world was against me. And guess what happened? Every decision I made came from pain, from insecurity, from fear, from anger, from sadness. I lost people because of how I reacted, not because of what they did. I gave up opportunities because I didn't feel ready emotionally. I held grudges for years that only poisoned my own peace. And then one day, I heard a quote that changed everything. You will suffer until you learn to respond instead of react. I realized something powerful. Emotions are real, but they are not always right. Just because I feel disrespected doesn't mean I was. Just because I feel rejected doesn't mean I'm unworthy. Just because I feel angry doesn't mean I need to fight. So I started practicing silence. Instead of reacting in 3 seconds, I waited 30 minutes. Instead of replying to someone who hurt me, I journaled. Instead of lashing out, I went for a walk. I breathed. I reflected. And slowly, my life became more peaceful. Not because people changed, but because I did. Here's the truth. If you don't master your emotions in your 20s, they'll master you in your 30s. You'll push people away. You'll say things you regret. You'll chase things that only hurt you. You'll ruin job interviews, relationships, and mental health. Not because you're not smart, but because you couldn't handle your own storm. Your emotions are powerful, but they're not meant to drive the car. They're meant to sit in the passenger seat while your wisdom holds the wheel. Truth 5. Being busy is not the same as being productive. You can waste years doing a lot but achieving nothing. I used to fill my days with noise. Wake up, check my phone, scroll, make a to-do list with 17 small tasks that made me feel productive but didn't move me forward. Answer every text, every email, every call. Say yes to every plan, every meeting, every request. I was always tired, always stressed. And yet, when I looked at my life, I was stuck in the same place. Until one day, a mentor said something that shook me. You're not busy. You're distracted. That line hit me like a punch in the gut, because it was true. I was doing everything, except the thing that mattered most. I was avoiding deep work. I was avoiding growth. I was choosing comfort over challenge. I was staying in motion, but not in progress. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to become financially independent. You tell yourself you're working hard, but your days look like this. Answering emails, attending calls that could have been messages, editing your resume for the 10th time, watching YouTube videos on how to become rich, telling yourself you're preparing. But deep down, you're not building. You're avoiding. Because real progress is scary, It's hard. It's uncomfortable. It looks like learning one high-income skill and practicing it for hours, creating content even when you're nervous, reaching out to clients even if you get rejected, investing in your body and brain even if you feel lazy. You see, productivity is not about being busy. It's about being brave. If you're always moving but never growing, stop. Look at your life like a map. Where are you really going? Are you just walking in circles, impressing yourself with how fast you move? Or are you walking in a direction that scares you, grows you, and builds something real? Your 20s can be filled with 10 years of busyness and no progress, or 2 years of focus that change your entire future. Choose wisely. Truth 6. Not everyone in your life is meant to stay. And the faster you accept this, the more peace you'll have. This one hurts, but it's necessary. We grow up thinking that friends are forever, that relationships once started should last for life. That loyalty means holding on, even when it hurts. But here's the truth. People are not all meant to stay. Some are here to teach you. Some are here to break you. Some are here to reflect what you need to heal. And a few, just a rare few, are here to walk beside you for the long road. I held on to people longer than I should have. And I paid the price. I ignored the red flags. I made excuses for their behavior. I convinced myself they'd change. I told myself that history matters more than peace. But every time I held on to someone I'd outgrown, I lost a piece of myself. My dreams got smaller. My confidence weakened. My light dimmed, just to make someone else comfortable. And one day I sat in silence and realized, if staying connected to them means disconnecting from myself, I'm choosing me. It's not selfish to walk away from people who drain you. It's not cruel to protect your peace. It's not cold to say, this chapter is over. In fact, it's one of the most powerful things you can learn in your 20s. Because peace doesn't come from how many people you have around you. It comes from who you have around you. Your energy is sacred. Your future is fragile. Don't let familiarity be the reason you keep suffering. If someone's presence feels like a weight instead of wind, let them go. Sometimes the most loving thing you can say is, thank you for the lesson, but I'm walking forward now. Truth 7. If you don't heal what's broken inside you, you'll bleed on people who didn't hurt you. Pain doesn't just disappear with time. It hides. And when you don't face it, it finds other ways to come out. In your relationships, in your reactions, in your self-worth, in your silence. A lot of people walk around thinking they've moved on from childhood wounds, heartbreak, failures, or betrayal. But the truth is, they've just learned how to bury it under distractions. They keep themselves busy, they laugh louder, they become high achievers, they joke about their trauma. They keep saying, I'm fine. But deep inside, they're not. They feel unworthy of real love, so they push away anyone who gets too close. They were once made to feel invisible, so now they speak over everyone to be heard. They were once rejected, so now they reject others before they get rejected again. It's not their fault what happened to them, but it is their responsibility to heal. Because if they don't, they'll end up becoming the very thing that once hurt them. And worse, they'll hurt the people who actually care. You can't build a powerful life on top of unhealed wounds. Because every time you try to grow, the cracks will show. Your relationships will fall apart. Your confidence will collapse. And you'll feel stuck, not because of the world, but because of your inner chaos. Healing isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's sitting with your pain instead of running from it. It's crying without shame. It's forgiving people who will never say sorry, not for them, but for your own peace. The truth is, you don't need more motivation right now. You need more self-awareness. You need silence. You need reflection. You need to ask, what am I carrying that's still hurting me today? Because until you face it, it will keep controlling your life in ways you don't even see. Truth 8. Discipline is not punishment. It's self-respect in action. Some people hear the word discipline and think of military life, suffering, restriction, or waking up at 4 a.m. with no joy. But that's not what real discipline is. Discipline is saying, I respect my future too much to betray it today. It's not about being perfect. It's about keeping your word to yourself. Because here's the reality. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, and you don't, your self-respect dies a little. Every time you snooze your alarm because your bed is more comfortable than your goals, you teach your brain that comfort is more important than growth. Every time you scroll your phone for hours instead of doing the thing you promised yourself you'd do, you send a message to your subconscious. My dreams don't really matter. Discipline is not about being strict. It's about being loyal. Loyal to the version of you that you say you want to become. Let's say you want to become fit. It's not just about motivation or inspiration. It's about doing it even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because those are the days that count the most. Motivation makes you feel good for a moment. Discipline builds a future you'll feel proud of forever. If you want success in anything, business, health, mindset, relationships, you don't need more passion. You need more discipline. Because people who win at life aren't always the smartest, the richest, or the most talented. They're usually the ones who did the boring things over and over again, while everyone else kept looking for shortcuts. So don't wait to feel ready. Train your discipline like a muscle. Start small. Stay consistent. Watch what happens. Because once discipline becomes your default, success becomes inevitable. Truth 9. Social media is designed to make you feel behind. And if you don't learn to control it, it will quietly ruin your self-worth. Every day you wake up and check your phone. Within seconds, you're flooded with images of people traveling the world, getting married, buying houses, building businesses, smiling, glowing, succeeding. And without realizing it, your brain starts to whisper, why am I not there yet? Am I falling behind? Am I failing? Airing your doubts to their filters. You're comparing your journey to their performance. And it's not a fair fight. Because behind every perfect photo is a story you don't see. Debt, anxiety, insecurity, loneliness, fake smiles, heavy editing, or even lies. Social media is not evil. But it's not truth either. It's not designed to make you grow. It's designed to make you addicted. It feeds you dopamine, then quietly takes your peace. You scroll and scroll, looking for something that feels good. But you end up feeling worse. More anxious. More behind. More disconnected from your own life. And here's the cost no one talks about. Every hour you spend watching someone else's life is an hour you didn't invest in your own. So what do? You reclaim control. You limit your screen time. You unfollow anyone who makes you feel less. You take days off to connect with your goals, your peace, your soul. You stop comparing and start creating. Because your life isn't meant to be a copy of someone else's feed. It's meant to be something deeper, realer, more meaningful. You don't need more likes. You need more clarity. You need more stillness. You need more presence. And when you do that, you'll realize you were never behind. You were just too distracted to see how far you've already come. Truth 10. Success is not an accident. It's the result of tiny decisions made consistently when nobody's watching. People love to believe in luck. They look at successful people and say, he got lucky. She had connections. They were in the right place at the right time. But here's what they don't see. They don't see the nights spent learning instead of sleeping. They don't see the rejections, the failures, the years of obscurity. They don't see the sacrifices made in silence. Because real success is built when no one's clapping, when nobody believes in you, when there's no audience, no likes, no praise, just your work. Let me give you an example. Imagine a person wants to become a successful writer. Everyone around them says, it's too competitive. No one reads anymore. But this person wakes up early every single day and writes 500 words. They don't post about it. They don't ask for validation. They just write. And write. And write. 2 years later, they release a book. It goes viral. People say, wow, overnight success. But no one saw the 730 mornings they woke up and wrote in silence. That's what real success looks like. It's boring, it's slow, it's lonely. But it works. The truth is, your future is being created right now by the small things you choose to do or ignore. Every day you skip the gym, your health slips. Every day you avoid that skill, your dream delays. Every day you choose comfort over discipline, your potential fades. But every day you show up, even just a little, you're planting seeds. And one day, that garden will grow into something so powerful that even the people who doubted you will have to watch it bloom. Don't chase luck. Build consistency. Because success doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. Truth 11. Your ability to stay focused in a distracted world is one of the most valuable superpowers you can build. Most people today are not tired because they're working too hard. They're tired because their mind is constantly jumping between things. They open their phone to check a message. 45 minutes later, they've watched 3 videos, liked 10 posts, read 5 headlines, and completely forgot why they picked up the phone in the first place. Their brain is overloaded. Their attention span is broken. And yet, they say they're busy and burnt out. Let me be honest. This isn't productivity. This is addiction. And if you don't break it, your goals will remain dreams forever. Here's the truth. Whatever controls your attention, controls your life. Let's take an example. 2 people wake up at 6 a.m. The first person checks their phone, scrolls for 30 minutes, and then rushes through the morning. Their mind is filled with what everyone else is doing. They start their day behind. The second person leaves the phone untouched. They write down 3 things to accomplish. They focus on one task for 90 minutes. No notifications, no distractions. By 8 a.m., they've done something meaningful. Fast forward 3 years. The first person is still saying, I'll start soon. The second person is unrecognizable. Mentally sharper, emotionally stronger, and further ahead in life. Why? Because they protected their focus. Focus isn't about being perfect. It's about eliminating noise. It's about deciding, this task matters. This moment matters. And I refuse to let the world steal it from me. We live in a time where you are rewarded for being distracted. Notifications want your mind. Apps want your time. Everyone wants your attention because it's valuable. But what most people don't realize is this. If you don't own your focus, someone else will. And the longer you stay distracted, the more you delay the life you're capable of building. Focus is a muscle. Train it daily. Protect it fiercely. Because in this world, the person who can sit in silence and build without checking their phone every 5 minutes, that person is unstoppable. Truth 12. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Everyone wants big things. They want to be rich. They want to be confident. They want success, freedom, peace, growth. But the hard truth is, your goals mean nothing if your daily habits are working against them. Let's break this down clearly. If your goal is to get in shape, but your habit is to skip workouts and eat processed food daily, your goal is a fantasy. If your goal is to build a business, but your habit is to watch Netflix every night instead of learning skills, the business is just a dream. Your results are not built on what you say you want. They're built on what you do consistently, especially when no one's watching. And the trap most people fall into is this. They set exciting goals. They feel motivated for a day or two. And then they return to the same routines. Because their environment, mindset, and daily structure never changed. Here's the truth. If you want your life to change, your days have to change first. That doesn't mean overhauling everything overnight. It means changing the tiny invisible patterns that shape your identity. Examples. Instead of saying, "I'll work out for an hour," say, "I'll do 20 push-ups every morning." Instead of "I'll write a book," say, "I'll write 200 words before lunch every day." Instead of "I'll become fluent in English," say, "I'll read 1 page out loud every night and listen to 1 English story." These actions seem small, but over time, they compound into unstoppable momentum. Because success is not one giant action. It's thousands of tiny ones, done without applause. So look at your habits honestly. Ask yourself, do my habits support the future I say I want? If not, change the system, not the dream. Your habits are your true foundation. And when they align with your goals, nothing can stop you. Truth 13. Your self-talk is shaping your future more than any outside force ever could. Every day, without realizing it, you're having a conversation with yourself. And the words you speak internally are either building you or breaking you. Most people don't even notice it. But their self-talk is toxic. They say things like, "I always mess things up. I'm not smart enough. I'll never be confident like them. I'm just not meant for success." And they repeat these lines every single day. Not out loud, but inside their mind. And the mind listens. It begins to believe that identity. It begins to look for evidence that confirms it. It begins to sabotage any effort to rise. Because it believes failure is what you deserve. Let me give you a simple but powerful example. Imagine 2 students preparing for the same exam. Both study the same amount. Both have similar intelligence. But one keeps saying, "I'm probably going to fail." The other says, "I'm ready. I've prepared. I can do this." Even before the exam starts, the first student's brain is already anxious, blocked, and nervous. The second student's brain is focused, calm, and open. Guess who performs better? Not the smarter one, but the one with healthier self-talk. Your words create your reality, not just the ones you speak, but the ones you repeat inside. So, train your internal voice. Catch the negativity and replace it. If your mind says, "I can't do this," say, "I'm learning how." If your mind says, "I'm not good enough," say, "I'm getting better every day." If your mind says, "They're better than me," say, "I'm focused on my growth, not comparison." This isn't fake positivity. This is mental discipline. This is learning to become your own greatest ally, not your own biggest enemy. Because you can have all the resources in the world, but if your inner voice keeps tearing you down, you'll never rise. Truth 14. If you don't learn to sit with boredom, you'll never be able to sit with greatness. We live in a world addicted to stimulation. Every second there's something to watch, scroll, listen to, react to. And the moment boredom hits, people run. To apps, to noise, to distractions. But here's what nobody tells you. Boredom is the beginning of breakthrough. Because greatness is born in silence, in stillness, in repetition, in depth. Think about it. Writers become great by sitting in silence, writing thousands of words alone. Athletes become champions by doing the same move over and over until it's perfect. Entrepreneurs build their empire not by doing something exciting every day, but by solving boring problems again and again with patience. If you can't sit with boredom, you'll quit when it gets hard. You'll chase novelty instead of mastery. You'll jump from one thing to the next, always seeking excitement, but never finding depth. Let's look at a real-world example. Two people want to learn a language. The first person watches exciting videos in that language but gets bored and stops when it's too hard. The second person listens to the same 10 sentences daily, reads the same story 20 times, and speaks slowly to themselves in the mirror. After 6 months, the first person has tried everything. The second person is speaking fluently. Because they weren't afraid of boredom. They embraced it. Boredom is not your enemy. It's your filter. It separates the people who want entertainment from the people who want excellence. If you want a powerful future, you must be willing to do boring things with consistency, patience, and faith. Even when no one's watching. Because on the other side of boredom is mastery, and on the other side of mastery is freedom. Truth 15. The world will keep asking you to prove yourself, but your power comes from knowing you don't have to. From a young age, you're taught to perform, get the best grades, win the competition, be impressive, show off your success. And without realizing it, you begin to build your entire identity around external validation. You start measuring your worth by how many people approve of you, how many followers you have, how many compliments you receive. But here's what happens. Every time someone criticizes you, you collapse. Every time someone ignores you, you doubt your worth. Every time you're not noticed, you feel invisible. Because your confidence was never real. It was rented from other people's opinions. But the truth is this. The most powerful people in the world don't need to prove anything. They walk into a room without explaining themselves. They know their value. They are rooted in silence, not noise. Let's take an example. Imagine someone who quietly works on their craft for 5 years. They don't post daily. They don't try to impress anyone. They just improve, refine, and build. One day, their work explodes. Everyone notices, and people ask, where did they come from? The answer, they didn't come from anywhere. They were already here. They just didn't need to shout. In your 20s, the temptation to prove yourself is strong. You want people to see your potential. You want to be recognized. But true power doesn't come from being seen. It comes from seeing yourself and knowing your worth without applause. So build silently. Let your work speak. And remember, the tree that grows the tallest doesn't grow the loudest. Truth 16. If you keep avoiding discomfort, you'll end up living a life that's far more painful than the thing you were running from. Discomfort is misunderstood. Most people think discomfort is the enemy, that it's something to avoid, escape, delay. So they postpone difficult conversations, avoid learning difficult skills, say yes to things just to avoid the awkwardness of saying no, stay in jobs that drain them because quitting feels too scary, stay with people they've outgrown because loneliness feels worse than pretending. They think they're protecting themselves, but they're not. They're just trading short-term comfort for long-term misery. Avoiding discomfort might feel like peace in the moment, but it creates chaos over time. Let me give you a real-world picture. Someone avoids discomfort by staying silent in a relationship. They don't speak up when they're hurt. They tolerate disrespect. They laugh things off when they want to cry. Why? Because confrontation feels too hard. Fast forward 2 years. They're emotionally exhausted. They feel unseen. They feel stuck. And now the pain is 10 times heavier than the discomfort they avoided. It's the same in career. Someone avoids the discomfort of learning something new. They say, "I'm not ready." They stay in their job because at least it's familiar. They push their goals to someday. 5 years later, they're still there, drained, angry, and lost, watching others grow. Here's the truth. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your compass. It's a sign you're moving toward growth. That awkward conversation, it can lead to truth. That hard workout, it builds discipline. That silence you sit with, it gives you clarity. That rejection you fear, it teaches resilience. The greatest mistake is thinking that a comfortable life is a good life. In reality, a meaningful life comes from choosing discomfort on purpose, because you know what's on the other side. Stop avoiding hard things. Start walking through them. Because pain doesn't destroy you. Avoidance does. Truth 17. If you keep waiting to feel ready, you'll spend your entire life waiting. There is a lie that almost everyone believes, and it's this: I'll start when I'm ready. But readiness is an illusion. No one ever feels fully ready to start a business, leave a toxic relationship, change careers, move to a new city, speak their truth, chase a big dream. They wait for a perfect moment. When the fear is gone, the confidence is there, and the stars are aligned. But that moment never comes, because what people call readiness is really safety, and growth never happens in safety. Let's look at a situation you've probably seen or lived. Someone has wanted to start a side business for years. They've had the idea, the plan, the passion. But every time they get close, they say, "I just need to learn more. I just need to wait until things settle down. I'm not sure I'm ready yet." And then, another year goes by, and another. And now they're older, more tired, more discouraged. Not because they didn't have the ability, but because they waited for a feeling that never came. Here's the reality. You don't get confidence before the action. You build it by taking the action. Starting before you're ready is not reckless, it's courageous. When you take the first step, even while scared, You learn. You adjust. You build muscle. But when you wait, you feed the fear. You empower the doubt. You build rust instead of skill. Your job is not to feel ready. Your job is to move anyway, even with shaking hands, even with a racing heart, even with questions in your mind. Because your future won't arrive when you're ready. It will only arrive when you're bold enough to go meet it. Truth 18. No one is thinking about you as much as you think. And that's your greatest freedom. So many people are trapped at the fear of what others think. They're afraid to post something, afraid to speak up, afraid to try something new, afraid to change their style, their career, their path. Because someone might judge them. They live inside a mental prison called, "What will they say?" But here's the truth. Most people are not thinking about you. They're too busy thinking about themselves, their own insecurities, their own problems, their own reputation, their own failures, their own survival. You are a tiny character in their massive world. And yet, people live as if the spotlight is on them 24/7. They delay their goals. They stay silent. They shrink their dreams. All because of people who aren't even watching. Let's imagine this. You post something online that you truly believe in. Maybe a project, a message, a bold opinion. You fear judgment. You imagine criticism. You rehearse 100 arguments in your head. But what actually happens? One person likes it. Two scroll past it. The rest forget it by dinner. Meanwhile, you wasted an entire day worrying about something that was forgotten in 5 seconds. Here's the freedom. You're not being judged as much as you think. And if someone does judge you, so what? Their opinion can't pay your bills. Their sarcasm won't build your dream. Their silence doesn't define your value. You are not here to be universally accepted. You are here to be deeply authentic. So stop editing your life for an audience that's not even paying attention. Speak your truth. Live your path. Follow your instincts. Because when you stop worrying about how others see you, you finally get to see yourself clearly. And that clarity, that's when your real life begins. Truth 19. If you want peace, learn to let things go without closure, apology, or explanation. Not everything in life comes with a clear ending. Some people will hurt you and never say sorry. Some relationships will end without a goodbye. Some opportunities will disappear without warning. Some questions will never be answered. And if you keep chasing closure in every situation, you'll drain your energy chasing people and explanations that will never arrive. Here's the truth. Closure is a gift, but peace is your responsibility. Sometimes you have to heal without the apology. Sometimes you have to forgive someone who isn't even sorry. Sometimes you have to walk away without needing to be understood. Because the more you try to make sense of why something happened, the more you remain stuck in it. Let me give you a picture. Someone ghosts you. One day they were close. The next, they vanish. No warning, no explanation. You spend weeks trying to figure it out. What did I do wrong? Why did they change? Don't I deserve an answer? But while you're replaying every detail, they've moved on. They're not thinking about it. And you're stuck, not in the situation, but in the need for clarity. The truth is, you don't need closure to heal. You need acceptance. You need boundaries. You need to choose your peace over your curiosity. Because peace isn't found in other people's answers. It's found in your ability to move forward without them. Truth 20. You won't always be motivated. That's why you must learn to become a machine, not a mood. Motivation is a wave. Some days it's high, and you feel unstoppable. Other days it disappears, and you feel empty, lazy, lost. And if you only move when you feel like it, your life will stay trapped in inconsistency. Let me explain this with a real breakdown. Two people want the same goal, to become financially independent. Person A waits to feel motivated. They have bursts of energy. They start something. But they stop when the mood fades. They look for more inspiration videos. They blame lack of discipline. Person B decides, I will do this daily, no matter how I feel. They show up at 6 a.m. tired. They build when no one notices. They work when the results are invisible. They don't wait for motivation. They rely on systems. A year later, person A is stuck in the same cycle. Person B has built momentum, and success is becoming automatic. What's the difference? One person follows feelings, the other follows a schedule. You need to become a machine, not in a robotic way, but in a powerful, unstoppable way. You need to create systems so solid that your success happens even on your worst days. That's where greatness is built. Not when you're excited, but when you're exhausted and still choose to show up. When you feel slow but still push forward. When you feel low but still keep going. Discipline is not about motivation. It's about design. Design your life so well that your default behavior is progress, not pause. When you stop waiting for motivation, you become unstoppable. Truth. 21. If you do not define success for yourself, the world will define it for you. And you will chase a life that isn't yours. From the moment you're born, the world starts whispering in your ear. Get good grades. Get a stable job, buy a house, get married by 30, earn this much money, look this certain way, have kids at this age, retire at 60. And if you follow it blindly without ever stopping to ask, is this what I actually want? You will wake up at 40, successful in everyone's eyes, and miserable in your own. This is not success, it's imitation. Let me explain with a real scenario. A person becomes a doctor, not because they love healing, but because their family said it's the most respected job. They study for years, sacrifice their 20s, get the degree, start working. But every morning they wake up feeling empty, not depressed, not lazy, just disconnected. Why? Because they climbed the mountain. And now they realize it was the wrong one. And the deeper tragedy, they're scared to admit it. Because it's too late, right? It's never too late to reclaim your life. But the longer you wait to define success for yourself, the more you will build a life designed to impress people, instead of fulfill you. Ask yourself, what does a successful day look like for me? Is my success tied to money or meaning? Am I chasing numbers or peace? Am I living by design or default? If your answers aren't clear, pause, step back, recalibrate. Because nothing is more painful than achieving what you never wanted, and then being too ashamed to admit it. You don't need to follow the crowd, you need to follow clarity. Because once you define success for yourself, deeply, honestly, every step becomes yours. And that's where real freedom begins. Truth 22. Your brain becomes whatever you feed it. And if you don't take control of your inputs, your mind will slowly rot. Most people understand physical health. They know junk food ruins the body. They know exercise builds strength. They understand that what goes in shows up later. But they never apply this to the mind. Your brain is consuming information every second. from the videos you watch, from the conversations you engage in, from the books you read or don't read, from the music, the noise, the opinions, the gossip, the arguments. And here's what they don't tell you. Your mental diet shapes your emotional stability, your confidence, your creativity, and your ability to think clearly under pressure. Let's say someone listens to gossip every day. They surround themselves with negativity. They scroll through outrage-filled posts. They watch drama, violence, and chaos daily. Their thoughts begin to shift. They become more suspicious, more judgmental, more reactive, more anxious, and they don't even notice the change. Because it's not loud, it's gradual decay. On the other hand, someone else guides their inputs. They start their morning with silence, not noise. They read 10 pages a day. They follow thinkers, not influencers. They cut out toxic conversations. They protect their focus like it's gold. A year later, this person sees the world differently. They respond instead of react. They create instead of complain. They have ideas, not excuses. Why? Because they fed their mind like an elite athlete feeds their body. In your 20s, your brain is in its prime. But if you keep feeding it digital garbage, emotional poison, and loud distractions, don't be surprised when your peace vanishes and your clarity fades. Guard your inputs. Audit what you consume. Ask every day, is this making me sharper or slower? Because your mind is a garden. It will grow what you plant. And if you don't plant something powerful, weeds will take over. Truth 23. Your character is revealed not by what you do when life is easy, but by how you carry yourself when life gets brutal. Anyone can be kind when they're happy. Anyone can be confident when things are going well. Anyone can post motivation when they're winning. But what happens when you're broke, you're rejected, you're misunderstood, you're tired and no one notices, you work hard and nothing seems to change? That's when your real character is exposed. Here's something the world rarely teaches. You are not defined by your success. You're defined by how you show up in the dark. Imagine two people face the same hardship. One of them complains, blames others, snaps at everyone, gives up. The other pauses, breaths, accepts the pain, keeps moving forward without needing to be seen. Which one do you respect more? Pain doesn't just test you, it reveals you. So, if life is hard right now, ask yourself, am I still honest even when it costs me something? Am I still respectful even when others are not? Am I still pushing forward even when the results are invisible? Am I still protecting my values even when it's easier to drop them? That's character. That's the foundation of a powerful life. Because your degrees, your money, your resume, they can all be destroyed in a moment. But your values, your discipline, your integrity, those are untouchable. If you build them strong, in the end, people won't remember how loud you were in victory. They'll remember how quiet and steady you were in adversity. Build your character like a mountain. So even when the storms hit, you don't crumble. You endure. Truth 24. If you don't take care of your body, every other success will eventually collapse. Your health isn't a luxury. It's the foundation of everything. Your brain lives inside your body. Your energy comes from your biology. Your ability to focus, build, love, learn, and grow. All of it is powered by your physical system. And yet, people trade it every day. They stay up late for meaningless things. They eat fast because it's convenient. They sit for 10 hours and call it work. They skip water skip sunlight, skip movement, but expect to feel great. Let me give you a harsh truth. You can work 14 hours a day building your dream. But if your body breaks down at 35, your dream breaks with it. Look at successful people who burned out. Their energy collapsed. Their sleep failed. Their mind began to fog. They reached financial goals and lost the body that made it possible. Now they're fighting battles they could have prevented. Don't be that person. You don't need to be a fitness model. But you need to respect your body like a professional respects their tools. Sleep like it's sacred. Move daily, even just a walk. Drink more water than caffeine. Breathe deeply, not just reactively. Go outside. Stretch, because when your body is strong, your mind becomes unstoppable. And when your mind is clear, your future becomes limitless. Health is not about abs, it's about access. Access to energy, clarity, creativity, and joy. Without it, everything else collapses. With it, you become a force that doesn't fade. Truth 25. You get one life, and it passes faster than you think. If you don't live with urgency, you'll die with regret. This is the most brutal, most sobering truth of all. You don't have time. You think you do. You think 5 years from now you'll start. You think one day you'll be ready. You think life will wait for you to figure it out. It won't. Let's do the math. If you live to 80, that's about 4,000 weeks. Now subtract the first 18 years of childhood. The years wasted on distractions, comparison, fear. The time spent just surviving, not living. How much is left? You don't have forever. You have now. And here's the danger. Most people don't realize how fast life passes until they're 60, looking back, wondering where the fire went. They realize they waited too long, settled too much, avoided too many risks, played too safe, lived too small, let fear choose their path. And now they can't rewind. That's why urgency matters, not panic, but purpose. Urgency means you stop wasting time on drama. You stop negotiating with your potential. You stop pretending like someday is guaranteed. You start acting like this week actually counts. Because it does. And if you live like that, every day becomes meaningful. Every step feels urgent, and you don't just exist. You live, deeply, fully, fiercely. The clock is ticking, not to scare you, but to wake you up, because regret is real, and by the time you feel it, it's already too late to change. So do it now, start now, live now. Because this is your one shot. And one day you'll either say, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. Make sure it's the second one. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel.